Signature TV, news in your pocket.
We have our guest in the studio, GC Namani Jr., who is a lawyer. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And our conversation is on the Natasha incident. I mean, Natasha had said earlier that she'd go back to this to her office today, and upon arrival today, she was denied access into the National Assembly. And even after making it through the first and the second, she was still denied access, and she had to turn back. And then she said she's going to seek legal advice from her lawyer. But before that conversation, a quote of the day is, life doesn't get easier or more forgiving, we get stronger and more resilient. And that quote is from Maraboli. Very interesting. Just as this quote has stated, what do you feel, or how do you feel about this recent development on the Natasha story? That was a deep breath.
like you should get ready.
Exactly.
Well, what I feel about the story, the Natasha story, is more or less a kind of political advertising. She's just selling herself out. That's the truth. Because if we get down to the nitty-gritty of the case, find that she does actually have a case.
She does, or she doesn't?
She doesn't have a case.
Oh, really?
Because, yes. Let's roll back. She was accused of misconduct, in quotes.
And she had accused the Senate president of sexual harassment.
Yes. Now the Senate in turn accused her of misconduct.
But this was after her accusation,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, don't worry, just land.
No, of course,
don't worry, land.
So now, it's accusation against accusation. And then what happened, they set up a committee to review the allegations, and then she was suspended for 180 days. Now, in order to find justice, she had to go to the court. Now, she went to the court, and the court ruled. Now, let me, before the court's ruling, there was a kind of, bloggers generally tend to misquote legal judgments.
Okay.
Because one, that's why they advise us lawyers, before we criticize any judgment, we should read the judgment. So before we read the judgments, the whole news was that she had been asked to return back to the Senate. But by the time we read the judgment, we found out that the judge only made a kind of recommendation, in the sense that they criticized the standing order of the Senate, that it is overreaching, because in a calendar year, a senator sits for roughly 181 days, and she was suspended for 180 days. So the judge deemed it excessive to suspend her for 180 days.
The entire days that
like
Senator
it was too overreaching. That was we call in law, you call it an obiter, a side comment. Now they took that comment.
I mean, that's what blogs do.
Exactly. Misinterpreted it, and then.
But on a second thought, Natasha knows better than to pick her information from the blogs, right?
Yes.
So now that leads to the first question I wanted to ask. She had made this complaint first before the National Assembly had, come to her and talked to her, rather accused her of misconduct. Now, would you say that it was the complaint against the the chairman, rather the Senate president, that prompted the one against Natasha as well?
I'm not in the Senate. I'm not in the Senate. I'm not a politician, but it can be deduced from that.
Okay.
That they were pushing the sexual harassment allegations against the Senate president. So of course they will have to justify their actions, because it doesn't make sense to accuse someone of it doesn't make sense that someone accuses the Senate president of sexual harassment and then the person is now suspended. So they have to justify their actions,
for suspending her.
Which brought about the misconduct.
Now, you mentioned the court.
Yes.
You've not really mentioned the settlement, the conclusion of the rule.
The conclusion of everything was that the court did not have what they call it, the courts cannot interfere. The summary of this was that the courts cannot interfere into the affairs of the Senate, because in the law they call it separation of powers. You cannot. It's an internal affair within them. As senators, they have their disciplinary committee. They have everything that regulates them. So she choosing to be a senator is now subject to those rules. So they followed the due process and set up the committee that gave her the suspension. So the court was that it's no longer within their jurisdiction to come in to meddle into the affairs of the Senate and then say, oh, this thing is wrong, this one is wrong. All they can do is criticize maybe
what is obviously
wrong, like the suspension for 180 days when you can only sit for 181 in the calendar year.
I mean, it's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
But then let's look at this being fair on what's her name, Natasha, because she's accusing the 10th Senate right now that the president's acting like a third-term governorship, whereby if you want to come against him, if your opinion is against him, you will be silenced in the Senate House. What's your take on that? Because if the courts that's supposed to be the home of the common man, they would have put this thing in order. I understand what you just said now, that they have their angles, right, where they work with. But then again, being in the Senate and having this president overseeing what he's accused of, you are an accuser, you are accused of a crime, and you're also presiding over what you're accused of. How fair can the judgment be? Being the president, every other person is under you. How fair can the judgment be?
Well, no, if it's about being fair, the judgment can be fair. Because one, the court is not under the Senate president. The court is a different arm of government, separate from the Senate, from the legislature. So the Senate president cannot dictate to the judge what he or she sits presiding should do. So that's the essence of the court being the hope of the common man, in the sense that it is autonomous from every other person. So if you have any complaints, you have any form of litigation, any problem, and you need a recourse to justice, you come to the court. The court is independent of any other person. So the Senate president can't even make any sort of legal influence over the courts.
Not really over the courts. I think what he's trying to ask is, why is the Senate president proceeding over the judgment of Natasha's suspension and every other thing that entails it, even when he is an accused person?
No.
With the situation going on with
the
Natasha
Senate president
as well.
is not. You are misunderstanding the listen. Natasha is challenging the actions of the Senate to suspend her. The Senate president did not suspend. This is the committee set up to.
I mean, this particular situation
Yes.
is something that had happened before the suspension.
Yes.
And I'm coming to talk to you and tell you that this person harassed me sexually, and then just because of that complaint, you finally realize that there's an attitude of misconduct in the Senate.
All of a sudden,
this could have cropped up. Maybe if you had complained of my misconduct and I come out to say, oh, this man assaulted me, it would look like this is just a loophole for me to thrive in this situation. But you could actually have left the situation of misconduct for later and sort out the issue of sexual harassment.
The issue of sexual harassment is personal. If you have any case of sexual harassment against someone, it's something you take to the court to seek redress.
Okay.
It's a different thing than the one we are talking about, the suspension. The sexual harassment and suspension, they don't go together. They are different. They're different subject matters. So if we're talking about the sexual harassment, I'm not sure about how far that case has gone. But that of the suspension is what I know that even she appealed the judgment. That's to show you how ironic it is. You said the judgment is your favor, you want to go and enforce it, and you are still appealing against the judgment. It doesn't make any sense.
You never can tell some background forces now working against her.
Yes, if you don't like a judgment, you appeal against it. That means judgment is not in your favor. But it's counterintuitive that you are coming to enforce a judgment by resuming, and then you are also appealing against that judgment. You said the judgment says you should resume, yet you appeal against that judgment.
Maybe that's why she said she's going to seek her legal.
Yes, that's why I said in the end, I think it's a way of just advertising herself.
But
I mean,
let's
okay, go ahead.
let's
Go
let's
ahead.
let's look at the effect this will have on women. You understand? Not just women actually, still on the people within the Senate, right? Because if someone is taking the bold step to speak up, and then politics is coming in to silence her, can anybody come out to speak up? Because if you try it, you may still fall under, the circumstances that the likes of Natasha is under right now. Do you think this will give room for anybody to speak up?
Of course, there's never been a time where you are not told not to speak up. You can't speak up. You should speak up.
Regardless
It's
of
what-
the implication,
It's what builds the society.
at your detriment.
It's part of the risk you must take. We are even lucky. We are in a democratic era to speak. We have social media to.
Is there really freedom after speech?
That's a different ball game.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the what will I call it now? They will push back. They must push back. Back then, it was the military era. At time you are after speaking, you are locked up till whenever you are remembered. But at least now we're in the age of social media. If someone is unjustly incarcerated or something, you have people that can speak for you. So I feel, regardless of the pushback from, let me quote, the unjust system, there's a need that we are not deterred. There's a need for us to always speak up. If you feel you are right, or you know that you are right, or you're standing right, you speak up.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at involvement of women in politics and holding positions like this. Do you think that there could be situations like this, but women don't speak up about it? And is it really encouraging for the women to also step into the political space and also hold public positions?
Well, let me be honest, it's actually difficult. It is difficult for women in the sense that whether we like it or not, there is a form of patriarchal system that exists in our country that runs our democratic system. In the sense that men are more populated in these areas. So a woman rising through the ranks is going to be huge. So it's not that there's no hope for them. It's the fact that there's a lot of work to be done. I think it's why many of them are clamoring for this special seats in this constitutional review now.
Yeah.
So that it will be easier for them that okay, at least we have.
But shouldn't they earn it? Okay. I like the silence. It's definitely the silence
on
is
one,
so loud.
no, on one angle, it's not good for our democratic society. On that angle, it has its pros and cons. On the good side, it's that it gives women an opportunity to join in the democratic decision making in that country. But on the other side, it gives rise to what I would call more demands, because it starts from one.
Of course. And
Before
it
you know it now,
progresses.
yeah, exactly. Before you know it, and then you come to another group can come out again and feel they are oppressed. They need the designated for them. In the end, we're no longer doing a democracy again. It's now a matter of suiting different groups. So the essence of democracy, in one sense, is the sense that everyone comes together and there's a kind of tussle. It's what gives it that flavor. And there's a tussle for it, which is why women don't particularly thrive in it, because that tussle is where they actually drown out. So
Okay.
in one hand, we want to push women a bit forward. In that hand, we want to be careful that we don't overreach.
Let's look at the influence of Natasha, because she's really been popular for the recent times now, for all of these stuff happening. Just recently, some political party members defected from the party to join her, at a party in Kogi State, just to support the cause she's running and what have you. She's really, really gathering momentum. Nigerian youths, people around seem to really like her. For once, people feel like there is a voice speaking for women, even if we are not really seeing women coming out in support of her. But this is the angle I'm coming from. with the influence she's gathering, do you see her coming for any bigger position in the 2027 elections? Do you, if she actually does eventually, do you think she has a chance to get?
Of course not.
Of course not.
You know, it's one thing to have public sympathy. It's another thing to convert it to actual election votes and win.
You call it public sympathy.
Yes, public sympathy.
Yeah.
It's more of, I'm not against her. Even though I support her, I feel, you know, it's when you are at a disadvantage, the crowd tends to favor the person.
Yeah.
It's normal. The person in power that is influential and everything is the one that everybody opposes. It's normal. It happens everywhere. But when it comes to election now, it's a different ball game. There are different players involved. It's not, no, you won't win by public sympathy. Oh, okay, she was oppressed and everything. That's not how you win. Then being in opposition party again is another big hurdle she had to cross. I mean, the APC is, what I call it now, they are consolidating their power. In fact, getting more governors to join them. The coalition they are forming too, they are trying to get their own. Even PDP will now be struggling to find their foot. But that's the truth. Because in the end, I think APC is the one benefiting from this whole thing.
Yeah, because they're just dividing themselves.
They're dividing
up
themselves,
and down.
and APC is consolidating.
Yeah.
You are bringing party members, former party members, former this, former that. APC is getting current governors, those in charge. So Natasha, she can, the momentum can be building, but I don't see her converting it to actually to get a kind of a bigger position. It's not that simple.
Now we are still in the season of constitution review, right?
Yes.
Reviewing, reforming the constitution and what have you. Women are also clamoring to be part of what is going on in the day-to-day activities of the nation. But Natasha, still we talking about Natasha, we are supposed to see women coming out in numbers to support her, you know, different groups protesting, even if not protesting, but standing by her, you know, making their voices to be heard. Even in the Senate, we're supposed to at least have 1 or 2 women talking, supporting her, even if it's from any other party. You know, the likes of, let's say, Labour Party, since they're against the APC, the current administration, maybe a woman leader or something would come out from Labour Party saying that what is happening, women should be, you know, women for women. We are not seeing that now.
It's rare to even see it.
Oh, really?
It's rare.
You're sounding like, the rare is not even the statement you're sounding like you want to say. You sound like it shouldn't even be there.
It hardly comes up.
Okay.
In that angle you're coming from, there's always a kind of, how do I put it?
A push?
There's a push, but the push is not necessarily genuine, in the sense that they want to push to the finish line. They only push to say, okay, we want this, but they don't want to push. They want to push her to say that, okay, she's standing for us, but they don't actually push to the end of getting to that finish line.
Do you think women are more competitive? They are kind of have this kind of, is it envy or jealousy within themselves more than men?
Exactly the point. Men can rally around one person to see it to the end.
Yeah.
But women don't have that same characteristic, or they don't usually display it. Because I noticed it in back then in university too. You know, our SUG, there was a woman that was coming up and everything. The moment was building. On the end of the day, it was like, we are the women.
It disappeared.
Everything disappeared. It was like,
I mean, most times it's not because you don't want to support this person till the end. But at some point, you just realize that a man will still win this position.
Exactly the point. They don't push it. As I said, don't push it to the end. In the end,
I think along the line, it becomes discouraging as well.
It doesn't become discouraging. That's the excuse they put to justify their.
Excuse.
It's the excuse they put to justify their inaction. In the sense that a man will still win.
Because it always happens that way.
Exactly, but
exactly, it always happens that way.
Based on the past. But if you're talking about future current, no future is written down. Future does not exist. You create it. So if your mentality is that you judge, you create your future from the past, it seems that you just have to look at the past. You say, okay, men have been winning. That means there's no hope for us.
Okay, let's
But
talk.
your
Let's talk
mentality-
about, if we are going to talk about suspension.
Yes.
Natasha is not the only of a government official that was suspended. Sim Fubara was suspended as well, and because of the whole, maybe the positions are different, so as the level of importance. He was called back. They had conversations with the president, and they resolved it. Now, this particular situation, why don't we have a big party stepping in to help I don't mean like political party, but like a big figure, a big wig, a political big wig in the system, stepping in to resolve this on whatever grounds that it would be resolved on.
First of all, looking at those involved, we're looking at a senator.
Because it's not important. It's not as big as the position of a governor.
It's not just a governor. We're talking of governor of Rivers State.
You sound like River State is bigger than every other state.
No, it's in the top 5 biggest states in Nigeria.
Of course it is.
Exactly. So it's a very crucial state for every president. You can't.
So,
you-
but before you become a governor or hold any political office, you're a human being to start with.
Yes.
So why can't that same arm of grace extended to the other party as well?
It depends on the parties involved. Like I said, Fubara made efforts to have these issues resolved. He didn't
Yeah.
just sit down and started carrying a placard and started trying to. Well, he did it at first, but it didn't work. So he found out, okay.
So which means she's not wrong for carrying placards.
No, she's not wrong for carrying it. But
it's
what
going
I'm
to
saying
be
that
the
it's
first thing.
it's
You
not
want
going to be a
revolt.
solution. It's only going to create a kind of a
An
little
awareness.
noise ahead, but it's not going to solve your problem.
Maybe it's just going to get the attention
It's
you
a
need
political
for the
problem. Exactly,
to
it's a
solve.
political problem and it can be solved politically. Fubara saw that, okay, this thing, no matter how much I shout, it's not going to be solved amicably. It can't be solved with that noise, sorry. So there must be other measures that must come in place, which is why they had to extend to various people to come in. So how do we solve this problem?
Okay.
But Natasha, on the other hand, she's still at her stage of social media.
I mean, she's a woman. What do you expect?
Still
I was
talking about
at that
women.
point I have nothing to say. I
Still
just
talking
have
about
to
women.
close
Still
it.
talking about women. Should we look at it from the angle of corruption, or shall I say wealth for the part of men? Because women need money to go into politics. Because we know what politics is right now in Nigeria, in Africa, whereby imagine a politician coming to buy you, to change your mind from opposing him with certain amounts, and then with women leaders, certain amount. Where you have what it takes to be a leader, but you don't have the money, the means to make your messages known and all of that. Could that be the reason why most of these women are reluctant to be part of the government? So what is happening? Because they don't have the financial means to go about the day business.
Not necessarily. It's not really the financial aspect that's it's a factor, no doubt, but it's not the only factor. There's so many other things that are coming to play when it comes to women's and their political game. You can there are many rich women. There are many rich women, but it's not about
Are they
the
rich
money.
enough to buy someone over?
It depends on. It's the question is, do you want it? It's how much.
I mean,
do you
people
want
that
How
are
many
being
women-
bought over, do
Yes.
they really
How many women do you even say go on occasions, and then send out like 200 million,
That's the problem. Do you want? Is how much you
500
want
million,
it.
like these individual men going about and doing all of these things?
But exactly, that's the advantage men have over women. It's the fact that men rally around. Most of the politicians you see spending money, it's not their money they're spending. They come together. They project one person to further their interest. The person enters, everybody's settled. And they start. But women don't play that group game. It's more of they're trying to stand shy. No, it's an opportunity for them. So instead of consolidating with that, they try to just shine and try to, but it doesn't work.
Or maybe they're not just told the best way to go about
It's another person again. There are so many things. Sometimes some things you do are instinctive. You know that this is the best thing to do. So women, maybe they still need more time in the political space to get that experience.
But with the pace of how Nigeria is right now, women not almost being in power, like how many years time can you give Nigeria to start producing women governors and then maybe women vice president. Let's not be too ambitious to say president, vice president. Like
say dream big.
If you are to give Nigeria
That dream
from
big,
what
no.
year to what year, are you looking at? Because this is the 21st century we are talking about, right? Have we learned that 22nd?
Second, I wanted to ask.
You know,
It's
because
not- it's
things
not-
should have changed.
It's not about the century. It's not about the dates. It's about
So it does
the
not
men-
affect women
It's
inclusiveness.
about the mentality.
Or it's about the system we run in
But
Nigeria.
the mentality creates the system.
Mm.
The system didn't fall from the sky. The mentality creates the system. Corruption is that system because the mentality is within us, even at the local level. So that's the problem with men is the mentality of the society in general. So until that mentality is changed, until there's a radical shift, I'm sorry, but the future is bleak for women in politics.
So you don't have any
Because-
year in mind.
Like in 5 years.
If
I don't like that laugh. I don't like that
Wow.
laugh. You make
Wow,
it
you don't
seem
even have
so
any hope.
unrealistic.
I'm not saying it's unrealistic. I'm saying that the mentality is still thick.
Mm.
Even if you come down to let's come down to my age grade, it's still there. Come down to even the lesser ones, it's still there.
I don't
And these
know.
are people that will still come up and replace these people.
Just was it yesterday? Just recently, Natasha, Big Brother Niger. She has already said that she has intention of coming to politics. You know, to do something.
There was another actress that did that in
Okay.
Lagos.
Oh, really?
Yes, what's that her name? Funke. She did
Of
it.
course, no,
After a while,
she
disappeared.
did. No, she did. I think she went for, I think PDP, one of the parties.
after-
Although she didn't win.
Okay.
She went on Instagram and deleted all the posts related
Because-
to the politics
Do
she
you know
did.
how much she must have spent?
Invested
I'm
at the time.
she's-
But the question now is that are Nigerian women ready to do politics actively and be somewhere,
That's why
big places actually in politics?
That's why I thought the future is bleak, because one, the mentality of there is still there. Move two, the mentality of the women in politics too. Buhari, before he became president, how many times did he contest election? He kept coming back, kept coming back, kept coming back. He spent billions.
Even
The
Bola.
women have that billions.
Funke made some noise with the whole this, and after then.
Maybe because she had relied on her popularity in the movie industry.
No, I'm not saying I'm saying she did not consolidate on it to continue.
Okay,
Continue.
okay.
She
I mean, it's
left.
not
Okay, I
encouraging
lost.
to start with. After spending so much money.
I think the thing is she wasn't really a politician.
Yeah.
She was just picked
A
like a person like come
businesswoman.
join and
Exactly
people
the
love
point.
you. We can do this
We
together.
can mention many politicians today
That were never really politicians.
That were never politicians.
There were men.
Our current governor was never in politics. Okay, he was back then. He was, but after a while we didn't see him. But he came back from nowhere and was picked to continue. Now she got an opportunity to contest an election, and she did. But after then, what happened? She disappeared. But
You
the other
can't tell.
guy,
Maybe
the
she'll
other
come
guy,
back in
Rose Vivo,
2027.
he's still building on it,
Yeah.
criticizing government, participating. If just for anything, just be out there, contributing to the whole thing, which is what Peter B is doing.
Is doing.
Yeah, because if he keeps quiet, by
He
the
will
time election
forgotten.
comes, nobody will remember. Oh, back then he was popular.
Mm.
But you must be in this space. Try to,
Just be-
which is
be
why I'm
busy.
commending Natasha for doing. At least she's using her what do they call it?
Sympathetic state.
Using her unfortunate
According to
circumstance
you.
to build on. Listen,
Yeah.
just be out there. Yeah, it's part of the politics.
So you have to stay relevant.
Yes, you must be in the news. Like people get to know you.
So,
Say, okay,
so
yeah,
where is this fault coming from? Because earlier, before you joined the show, we were talking about the women in the African competition, the football competition. If you go out, you barely see women watching women football.
when it comes to sports, we are in a different ball game now.
Beautiful. Now we've been asking the question: where is the fault from? What are we to blame? Who are we to
When it
blame?
comes to
Is it the culture? The culture, like the religiously, or is it the culture of Africa? Women are not supposed to be here. Women are supposed to be in the kitchen. Where is this coming from? Why are women finding it very hard to come out and vie for public spaces, and even if they didn't get it, come back again, and dream higher in politics?
It's more biological.
Okay.
It's more biological in the sense that men are, biologically speaking, men are blessed with what they call testosterone, which gives them that sport to go out and do
It's
something,
trend.
take that risk. We take a lot of risk. Women don't have that. They are more with estrogen and oxytocin, cool this thing. Which is why it takes one for a woman to, you have to first override your biological genes or system that has been wired within you to be able to first come out from that and then join the battle. Like in the aspect of sports, it's not that they don't like sports or they cannot. It's just that they need that extra push, which nobody is even willing to give them. They're not willing to push themselves in the first place because it's not wired into them. When push comes to shove, they'll be like, it's immense stuff.
All right. I think that's the most we can take on this conversation.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, GC Namani Jr.
Thank you
Esquire,
very
for
much.
joining us tonight on this
Thank you.
conversation. It's not just one conversation we've had so far. We've talked about so many other things. So thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.